G'day mate, welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. This is episode 78.5, which means it's a recap episode. It's something I do every single week. If you're new to this series, if you happen to be new to this series, once a week we do a recap episode on Sunday. Well, it's Sunday in Australian time. It might not be Sunday where you live, but it's Sunday in Australian time. So, this series. Okay, let's start with the standard introduction for this series. This series is my thank you for being a subscriber to the channel series. Is probably the best way of putting it. The channel, some time ago when the series started, hit 5,000 subscribers. So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, to fire off a full SpaceX spaceship for every single subscriber. Because I figured 5,000 rockets would be nothing. As you can see, we're up to 10,000 rockets, and that is 400 SubX spaceships. So a SpaceX spaceship, which is what we're actually launching, requires, as we can see down here, a protection field, fairly expensive, a fusion reactor, fairly expensive, a habitation, fairly expensive, a life support, very expensive when you start adding productivity modules into the mix, an astrometrics, very expensive, a command center, super expensive. Fuel cells, which I keep forgetting about, which are these ones, very expensive. Thrusters, they're the ones I keep forgetting about, which require 50 speed module 3s, which falls into the very expensive category. Except you need 4 of them, which makes them super expensive, with 10 hull components, which are just plain out expensive. And then finally, the piece de resistance, the fast light drive that we throw in the back end of it to actually launch it from me to you, being the subscriber, at super duper expensive at 500 damn modules of each. So, the premise of the series is I'll launch a full SpaceX spaceship for every single subscriber. The catch is they take a little while, hence this series is a little bit longer than normal. We're 400 launches in, we're on episode 78.5, and at the rate I'm going, it's going to continue going for quite some time. So, yeah, that's the premise for this series. On top of that, as you can see, we have a whole purple section. The purple section is for my supporters of the channel, those that actually go above and beyond, and they help support the channel, above and beyond just clicking, watching the videos, clicking the subscribe button, sharing it with their friends, all the normal things that I hope every single subscriber is doing. These are the supporters that choose to support the channel either on Patreon or through a Twitch subscription or through a YouTube membership. Now, I have been launching these off. We have a handy dandy little list over here of the current subscribers or current supporters that have been launched. As you can see, we've launched a few of them, not all that many, out of our 401 launches. My 400 launches, as you can see, have names attached to every single one of them. What I've actually done is I've used the YouTube API to go through and actually grab every single subscriber's name I possibly can and pop them in launch their spaceship, and at the same time tag their name across the side of their rocket or across the side of their spaceship before shipping it off to them. So where we're up to in this series is I need to actually launch one more of a normal rocket to complete launch number 4002. No, 402. I wish I was at 4002. At the same time, I need to up the mining productivity as well, because I do get a certain amount of space science. Every single time we launch a fast light drive, which is what we just launched in this rocket manually, because I wanted the automatic launches to stop, we're going to get returned as many science packs as I have unlaunched subscribers. So obviously the more subscribers I have, hence I'm going to ask you very nicely now to click the subscribe button. Not only would you be able to get your name on the list, but at the same time you can also give me more science packs. And science packs are important, especially when you're talking mining drone productivity number 70, number 153, which is 77,000 research. We are using the lovely... You're confused, Spitter. Super confused. We are using the little mining drones out here. We are using little mini-me's, and this is why, hence I'm doing that particular research. But today's episode, I actually want to start with launching a couple of supporters, because it's been a while since I've launched supporters. When I turn on this lovely combinator, this rocket silo launches, along with this group of rocket silos up here launch, and they all ship off a supporter rocket, which we'll just turn that off for a second so the silos have a chance to reload and refill. Today we're going to actually launch a long time subscriber of the channel, a Twitch subscriber, glasseyemarduke. Glasseyemarduke, in case you're curious, he's been subscribing for not quite as long as I've been streaming on Twitch, but close to. At the same time, he actually belongs in this list, so we need to whack his name up here. Which might... Yeah, thanks, Glasseye. Your name's too long. Nope. Yeah, we'll just have to fill in everything between here and here somehow. We're going to start that off with another launch. So, as I said, glasseyemarduke has been a long time Twitch subscriber of the channel. The best thing about Glasseye is, if you've ever seen any of the Twitch clips that have been shared here, there, and everywhere, not guaranteed, but a pretty high chance that they're actually one that Glasseye has actually clicked. He has a habit of, even if he doesn't catch the streams live, he'll actually pop through the stream later on, watch the video on demand, and then actually take the clips that way, well before they actually end up on YouTube. So, another little rockets off. We're also going to say thank you for supporting the channel, eagleandy. We'll close that, and do we have enough text plates? Probably not. Eagleandy, and you know what? If we have another one, we'll even launch another one. So, on top of that, with this series is a little bit different. I also have a couple of other mods where we're pulling different people's names from elsewhere. I have actually... I think glasseyemarduke, right there. Glasseyemarduke also has a station because in settings, mod settings, I actually have a backers list mod installed, so any single supporter of the channel also has a chance of becoming a random train station as I plop down more train stations. Let's do another launch. I didn't check that these are all ready to go. Oh, good, they're all ready to go. Crap, I got another one sitting there ready to go. Alright, let's go with... no, we'll probably call it here. Three in a row seems like enough. We have Faceless. Faceless is, again, wonderful chap. If you actually look at the end screens of every single episode, this one included, he actually helped me update the end screens. They used to take hours to render. They now still just take like an hour to render, or 2 hours. No, 2 hours to render. But it has vastly improved my workflow, and at the same time, like I said, he is also a Twitch subscriber. eagleandy, also a Twitch subscriber, has been again for a very, 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 very long time. Anyway. With that said, that's enough of getting completely sidetracked. We'll go back and we'll turn on the normal silos and have them continue launching. And off we go. Okay, so this week, because this is all about a weekly recap, what happened this week? So, first things first. We have down here our very, very first module build. This guy is actually producing, well, we have... whole bunch of raw ore, wandering around, coming in and turning into plate, turning into green circuits, turning into red circuits, finally turning into blue circuits. There's the blue circuit build, which actually wraps around the backside, which then makes module 1s into module 2s into module 3s, which then finally wander all the way up here and get turned into module 4s, with module 5s, with module 6s. If you're at all curious, we're actually running the Factorio extended mod, which means rather than just having, tier 1, 2, 3 of most items, it actually adds tiers 4 and 5 of most items. So I have a bigger and better assembler, I have a bigger and better furnace, I have bigger and better refineries, so on and so forth. So at the start of the week, we came through here and we literally upgraded this with... We threw purple belt at the problem, to be honest. We threw purple belt at the problem, which moved 75 items per second, just to see if we could squeeze anything else out of this build. Turns out we probably squeezed out a little bit more efficiency out of this build. It's probably running a little bit faster, not a massive amount faster, because we just capped out all the belts. Like, the belts are running as fast as they can, the assemblers are running as fast as they can. There's really not much else we can do to get this running any faster than it currently is. So, yeah, that's how we started the week. Then we moved on to this. This has been one of our bottlenecks for a long time. This is actually the fast light drive off-site processing facility, I guess you could call it. Yeah, it's been making our fast light drives for quite some time, and basically, rather than trying to rebuild it, we ripped it up and started from scratch. Because as the series continued, we've had a version 1 of a build, then a version 2 of a build, and a version 3 of a build. The best example I can give you is like green circuits. Green circuits, if anybody remembers a green circuit build, they generally tend to be very, very long, very, very massive, and our original green circuit build ended up out here somewhere and made like 3 belts of green circuits. That was 3.5 belts worth of green circuits. And then as we've got better and better modules, better assembly machines, we've actually been able to cut that back down further and further and further. And this is our current green circuit build. It takes in a stack of iron, a stack of copper. Think of it like a pallet load at a time, just shoved straight in the assembler. And then, of course, the assembler takes a little while longer to process because it's processing a pallet at a time. But then it pops out a pallet of green circuits. And because of that, we've been able to vastly over time increase our production from what was a lot to now a lot. We produced an extreme amount of materials. Sorry, I just thought I'd missed something. So, yeah, we're producing a lot more materials than we ever were before. So, as we've upgraded our builds, we've also upgraded our off-site builds. So, if we look down here, like this is running the better productivity modules, somewhat, but we're also running the old-fashioned beacons with speed module 3s. The furnaces are productivity module 3s with speed module 3s, but on the Mark 1 beacon. It's the best we could afford when this build went together. We've then had other builds like these ones up here, which we've upgraded again to the beacon Mark 3s, which have a better distribution efficiency. They have a higher distribution efficiency because they're more expensive. But again, same story, we can only afford the productivity 3 modules and the speed 3 modules because that's all we can afford. Like, these things are really expensive to put together, especially when you're talking about, 400 beacons with 90 furnaces, and you'll notice my furnaces have extra productivity, extra module slots. It gets expensive. So, as I said, we've been upgrading things slowly. One of the things we actually finished off this week was this build down here. This build down here outputs, and you'll love this, it starts off with speed module 1s, which halfway through the build, I'm looking for our roboport. Our roboport. Our roboport indicates we've swapped from speed module 1s to speed module 2s, which it then outputs speed module 2s, which, again, these are all running stacked recipes. So, again, think of it like a pallet load in, a pallet load out, which then turn into speed module 3s. As you can see, these machines are running, you can see by the animation, super fast. Because we're doing a pallet load of 25 items at a time, they take 25 times as long to process, which means the animations are super slow, because even with all the speed I've thrown at the machine, the crafting time is like, you know, 16,000 seconds or something. It's absolutely massive. When you do have a crafting speed or a crafting bonus of 2,000%, it does bring that time down, but it's still a very, very long time. But yeah, this is making speed module 3s, which then come down here and get turned into speed module 4s, which then get turned into 5s, which then get turned into a single speed module 6 at the end, which is pumping out, and you'll love this, per minute, it's pumping out 0.321 speed module 6s per minute, which is 0.321 multiplied by a stack of 25, because that's how many we're making. It's actually 8 speed module 6s per minute, which is significant. Trust me, it's a very, very large number. This whole build eats 4,000, 3,000, 1,000. Multiply each number of these by 25. So that's actually 25,000 blue circuits. It is, what, 75,000 green circuits and 100,000 red circuits per minute to keep this thing running. Because we're all running stacked recipes, you know, they're all, consider every single item you see on the screen as a pallet load of 25 at a time. Anyway, as I said, this we finally finished off at the start of this week. We finally had it unloading, as you can see, because of how, you know, in 3 minutes it's only made 3 of these stacked recipes. But then again, that is 75 speed modules in, you know, 4 minutes. So it's not that bad. Is that 4 minutes? No, it's like 8 minutes. Whatever. In 480 seconds, it's made 3 of them. It doesn't output a lot, but then when you unstack it at the other end, it does really, really add up. So we've finished that build, which then meant we're finally at a stage where we're actually making, if we go to crafting, we're finally making the productivity module 6s and the speed module 6s at a reasonable enough rate that we can start spending them in large amounts, which is what really came along this week. This week, as I said, we had fast light drives being made out here. We were averaging about 1 every half hour, which meant we were doing 1 interstellar launch every about half hour. It had been boosted, it had been sped up. We had done everything we could to bring it down to like 1 every 20 minutes or so. But the answer was to fully rebuild everything. So this is our latest edition, which features the Productivity Module 6s with the Beacon Mark 3s, with the Speed Module Mark 3s, and as you can see by the flashiness, it's still missing some Speed Module 6s. It is getting there, but the whole build is currently backed up because we're limited by this, which is now outputting. I actually have no idea. It hasn't really been running long enough. 1, 2, 3 in the last 10 minutes. So that's 1 every 3 minutes or so, which means we can launch a full space SubX spaceship every 3 minutes or so. We can see. Oh, actually, it's not that much dead time as I thought. It did take us a while to sort of rebuild this area, but yeah, it should start launching a lot faster. I have a certain amount on them of the Speed Module 6s on me already, so we might just grab a trains and come on, jump on the trains and go say hi to this build. But yeah, this was like this week's major project. It's a major accomplishment that we can start actually outputting fast light drives at a significantly increased pace. It's still not fast enough. Like I said, it's nowhere near fast enough, but it's something. It's better than nothing. It's better than what we had before. What else? That's really it for this week. Like this week, not a lot happened in the base. We spent most of the time off-site doing some pretty substantial builds. Obviously, finishing off the Speed Module 6 build was pretty important. They all disappeared real quick. But that should speed up this production. As you can see, you know, taking 500 each time a module at a time is fairly expensive. And can we get a live? Oh, one of these is going to come through, and this is going to go up by a count of 25 plus another count of 25 because we had 2 come through. Can I have a Speed Module 6 pop out, please? That'd be awesome. A Speed Module 3, rather. Anything. Just a single module. There we go. We're going to have 2 come here, which will count up this by 25, which will start the process and count up by 25 again. As I said, because these are doing a stack, you know, it's 1.5 thousand seconds crafting time, which means, yeah, even with a 20 to 2,000% speed bonus, the assemblers look really, really slow. They are producing at a decent clip, but yeah, the animations look really, really slow. You should not have those. You should have speed modules. When we get that far, it's going to be a while before we can actually afford to put something respectable in here to make it run faster. Yeah, so we'll have some efficiency modules for moments. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Like, you know, every week I'm trying to fit in a major build, and that was this week's major build. You're at, what, every half hour? Every half hour. So in the last half hour, this build itself has definitely produced 3 fast and light drives. How much more it produces, we'll find out as we finally get all the speed modules in place. As you can see, all the belts are backed up. We're literally limited by the speed of this build, which is limited by the fact that it's not full of all the speed module 6s so far. We have been putting speed module 3s in here as an interim process to just make sure it runs, but yeah, it's still got a little while to go. With that said, I think we're done with this episode. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of changes this this week, but it does mean next week, this is still making our productivity module 6s. I think we're gutting the whole thing and we're replacing it with something that looks closer to this, to produce a lot more productivity module 6s. At the same time, we're probably building this twice so we can also output speed module 6s, because there is a lot of iron here at home base, a lot of copper that we're not really using. In saying that, you know, the copper did come down to about here, and we have taken a substantial bite out of most of these patches. Yep, you can see by the area that is concreted and the area that the patches now take up, there's a significant difference in some of them and how much is being chewed. In saying that, I do need to thank, if we bring up our log, I do need to thank Blairy OnDecks, obviously Glasseye, eagleandy, and Faceless for all being Twitch supporters, or Twitch subscribers of the channel. Something I should have really mentioned whilst we're up there. We also have Guy Russell, ghostvdw. I was going to go with ghostvdw, but obviously that was wrong. Ling Lee, Richard Benson, Steve Batman, and we just launched Estio as well. We do have our YouTube members over here on the left. We have our Patreon supporters here in the middle, which we're just going to slide over just a little bit. And of course, we have our Twitch subscribers on our right. So we are taking from all 3 different types of supporters of the channel. I do appreciate everybody who does support the channel. You have no idea how much it means to me. Most important thing is every single thing that goes, every single person that supports the channel, every single penny that they support the channel with goes back into the channel. And now we have an Anton Lol. Anton Lol has just been also added to the grand list of YouTube subscribers who are getting an intergalactic spaceship this week. Anyway, with all that said, I need to thank you guys for watching. As always, I need to thank you if you're liking the video and sharing the video, and that's all you can do. I very, very much appreciate it. If you have clicked the subscribe button, there's a good chance you're on my giant list of people who will be getting a SubX spaceship in the hopefully not too distant future. We're not quite at the point where I need to work out how I can launch more than 1 rocket per minute, but that's or more than 1 complete SubX launch per minute, but that's probably going to be on the cards eventually, hopefully sometime soon. And again, special big thanks goes to every single supporter of the channel. As I said, you guys have no idea how much it means to me, how much it makes a massive difference to what I can afford to spend my time on. If it wasn't for you guys, I definitely could not afford to do a series that is going to run for 3+ months. We also need to, and I just realized that these guys have finished from flashing at me, so we need to do, oh, I already had an upgrade planner. Upgrade the solar panels. Okay. I'm done. We're gonna call it here before before Kai Schulz gets launched as well, and I have to say another person's name. But yeah, we're launching substantially faster than we were last week, and I'm hoping to be launching substantially faster the week after. Anyway, like I said, all done. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in next week's episode. All right, bye.